Well, now I've got an hour of recording that I don't need. Whatever. I can cut it off and resolve now that I know how to use it. Anyways, so it's a full editing suite. I mean, it has everything. You can do audio, you can do video, you can look. A lot of video editors that are free don't give you a full audio suite, but this one has, like, normally stuff that I do in Audacity I can do in Resolve, is what I meant to say. It's got filters, it's got scene cutting, it's got widgets, it's got gadgets, it's got enough to make Ariel come herself. But yeah, it's way more complicated than I need, but it's also extremely free.
Mermaid a tech freak?
I don't know. She likes gadgets and gadgets, so I assume that's just what she's into. Dildos. I think we actually had a conversation about how Ursula just has a bunch of dildos. Ah, the La Patinue waltz. Which, this might be the item that I've totally not given away. Give me this fucking bird. Got it. So anyway, yeah, it does what I need it to do. I'll be able to use it to clip down the videos to more edible sizes, cut out some of the repetition, because no one really wants to sit through a 3-hour YouTube video. I do. I like that kind of shit, but I know that most people do not. That's actually how I watched Cry play through Final Fantasy 15, because he just uploaded his Twitch videos without any editing. But they were anywhere between 3 and 6 hours long each. But for me, it was perfect to kind of just keep in the background while I was working or whatever. So, but I will be using these free skills to trim things down and fix my voice a little with the audio suite, clean it up a little, all that good stuff. Anyways, let's get some background here. The ancient city of Vigrid is largely inaccessible, surrounded by what? Ancient. That's what I said. And the mountains on one side and the sea to the other. While at first glance this may seem incredibly inconvenient, it is said that Vigrid flourished primarily due to the presence of strong spirit energy within the land underfoot. The Umbra Witches and Lumen Sages, each with respective control over dark and light, must have needed a land replete with this spirit energy to enable them to oversee history. The waves of time had modernized Vigrid, spurring rapid development. However, its residents still avoid outside contact, preferring to maintain their own culture and religious outlook. Their only link with the outside world is a single long-distance rail line. Simply riding this train requires an application to be submitted to Vigrid authorities, and a rigorous background check is required prior to the issuance of an entrance visa, which must be carried at all times. Once disembarking from the train, there is a further police search, after which one is granted admission to the city. It seems that what allows Vigrid the ability to be so strict regarding immigration is a seemingly close link between the Vigridian authorities and the Ithavoll group, a conglomerate based in Vigrid. Yet proving this link will require further investigation. As always, there's a secret multi-conglomerate at the center of all things. Oh, in this case, it's more like the Vatican City also has a business. Alright. Here's where we start mixing up our enemy types.
I mean, not really, because the Ardor is just
Ow. A giant bird, that's true. Giant chicken.
He's hitting on steroids.
Yeah. Ah!
Really.
Is that really what his story is? That's what it looks like his story is. Oops, did not mean to go that way. Alright, let's get back to being good.
Oh, you're gonna have to get good first.
Alright, I can't get back to it. Just stop screaming and attack me. I keep doing that by accident, using up all my magic. Did you see that shit? That was a perfect block if I ever saw one. Stabbing him in the ass. Stabbing him in the ass. Didn't kill him, though. I cut off his ass and he still didn't die. He's got a powerful ass. Alright. So, Ember, I was actually kind of curious. Is the gore in this game at a point where it's okay for you, or is it too much at times? Because I know it is rather graphic with how enemies like to die. Yeah, here's where I thought you needed the bird, but you're right. You just do the double jump, and then you turn on the fountains. The stream chose that moment to buffer. No, I was curious if the rather graphic alien deaths or angel deaths was too much for you, or if it's just within your threshold of acceptable violence. Because yeah, this game doesn't really hold back on the explosions of bodies. So here's our first fight with two of these inspired at once. This is normally how they show up later in the game. In pairs. Get off the thing. Fight them on the ground. Oh, hey, fucker. Can you do the uppercut, lady? No, you can't. I batted that time. My simultaneous timing is off tonight. Alright, there's one dead. She said boom, not boo. Gosh. I'm getting good at accidentally perfect dodging, at least. Jesus. I'm not getting witch time from it, though. Oh, because you normally don't get witch time from this attack. That's why. Ow. If it was larger and more in your face, might be an issue, but it's on a smaller scale, and you're multitasking. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Because, yeah, I know this game definitely has a little bit more graphic gore than Nier did. Got it! This time I did get the insta-kill, because it was low enough. I think it does, like, almost 2/3 of its health. Dog's asleep, by the way. Such a babby. So this weekend at the barn, we did not clean. So we had a lot more time to ride horses. However, only one of my two lady horses is currently able to be ridden. My actual horse, Zara, is who I've been riding. Lacey, the old mare that I normally ride too. She's she and her penmate, Royal, have been... Apparently they're both in heat right now, which horses don't really have menopause. Even when they're old, they still go into heat pretty regularly. And they still get just as bitchy. So the fact that both of them were in heat at the same time, apparently there was lots of kicking and angry biting at each other. And Royal caught Lacey pretty good in one of her back legs. It's not a deep cut, but it's a very long scrape, so it looked really bad. It was really bloody, like her whole leg was kind of gross and covered in blood when it happened. So because of that, she's been put in an individual round pen for now. She is not out in the bigger pen, and I can't ride her right now either. So right now it's just been Zara, but the good news is that Zara is definitely getting back into shape, because she did a lot of work the last 3 days in a row. Because she worked Friday night, she worked yesterday morning, and she worked this morning, and every day was actually pretty long sessions too. Yeah, it looked gross, but today I got a chance to look at it now that it's scabbed over, and it's probably like 3 inches long. Like, it's a really long scrape, but it's not very deep. It just happens to be on a very thin part of the leg, right over a tendon. So it looks like it's really bad, but it's not actually too terrible, luckily. But yeah, in the meantime, I am obviously not going to be working her, so she has a chance to heal up properly. So, but Zara worked 3 days in a row, which is a lot for her, considering she is still in need of getting back into shape. I also switched her feed recently. She was on a senior feed, because she is 20. So she's getting up there in age, but senior feed isn't necessarily like, you don't only need to feed it, or it's not the only thing that is good to feed an older horse. It's more made for older horses who maybe aren't working as much, as well as any other horse who is not doing as much regular work, and or has teeth problems. Because what I learned is that senior feed has more fiber in it. It's easier for them to digest, and it has more fiber content because you're under the assumption that they're not going to digest as much food, and they need a little bit of extra help with gaining weight and keeping the weight on. So for the last 2 months, I had her on normal senior feed because that's what her previous owner was feeding her. But now that she's working so regularly, I've switched her to a higher fat, higher protein feed, which should help her build some more muscle. Which for a quarter horse is good. Quarter horses are very beefy horses. They're very stocky. And for a horse as muscled as she is, she loves to run when she's in shape, which is what I remembered about her when I used to ride her way back when she belonged to her previous owner. I know that she loved running. Her owner didn't like to run her that much, but when I was on her, she just got a kick out of it. And she would run like she was an Arabian horse. But she wasn't able to do that when I first bought her because she was pretty out of shape. And I actually thought she was fat, but it turns out she was skinny and just saggy because all of her muscle is just so loose and hanging down. But now that she's building it back, I've switched her to a higher muscle build or a higher protein build. And she handled the last 3 days of work like a champ. Let me read this real quick. Notes on the topic of magic, Part 4. Everyone carries within them a record of their evolution as a being, since time immemorial. It is this inner knowledge that the magical arts call upon when a practitioner uses the transformation technique known as the beast within. While there is very little documentation regarding this technique, it is comparatively easy to guess at its workings. It is even easier when one considers how many works of art depicting this condition fill museums to this very day. These works capture the very moment when a witch transforms herself into an animal. Present-day interpretations never seem to escape the realm of dismissing these works as an artist's daydreams, however, when viewed from a different perspective, they are an important reference point in researching the magical arts. These pictures illustrate the unbelievable transformation of an Umbra witch via the most special of means, seeing her take the form of various animals. The witches were able to freely use this technique, transforming into beasts for incredible speed or birds to send themselves soaring into the sky. Preemptive fuck birds. However, I can actually turn into a bird now. I forgot to show it off. So let me do that real quick. Anyways, so last couple days we've been working pretty hard with our horses. And today, Zara and I took a trail ride. And he took his horse Quattro and I took Zara, and we first went around the inner trail, which is right inside of the farm, or the barn area rather. It's a pretty short one, but then we took him down along the creek and through the farmland nearby. There's a huge long stretch of grass which the horses really like to run on, and I have never taken Zara out to an open area like that before, so I was kind of curious what she was due, and she was definitely already tired by that point, but I can safely say that she loved it because Quattro is extremely in shape, and I mean extremely in shape. Paso Fino horses are already endurance horses by nature, but Zara's been working with him for a long time now, and he is like incredibly in shape. So the fact that she kept up with him for most of the time I was shocked and impressed. But yeah, I mean the two were neck and neck the entire stretch. Did we get up to a gallop, or was that still just cantering? We were galloping? Yeah. So I didn't even realize that we were galloping because she's surprisingly that smooth at it, considering that she never does it. But yeah, she had a ball. So she definitely had a long shower after that. But yeah, it was a good day. And considering she had worked 2 hard days before that, and today she still had the strength and the energy to gallop that much, tells me that she's finally getting back into shape. Is that Will Smith and Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Monroe? Marilyn Manson? You know, Marilyn Monroe, Marilyn Manson, they're the same person, right? That's an impressive picture if that's real. Wow. Hey, I did it. Did you see how much damage that counter does if you don't fuck it up? I'm gonna kill this guy during one witch time. Yeah. Wow, this is probably one of the best versions of this fight I've ever done. Maybe that practice has paid off. So anyways, yeah, two very busy but good horse days. Actually 3, because Friday night too. Wait, there's 4 of these fuckers? Well, I was getting all cocky, but let's see if I can keep it up. Alright. Right, I was supposed to try fighting while talking to see if it actually helps me focus by not focusing. Just chatting. I know I'm not having trouble with these enemies, though, trying to talk while I fight them. Because I trying to go to super concentration mode. Not that it helps. But hey, that wasn't terrible. How much health I still have left? Nice. Yeah, again, this is a part where I thought I needed the bird, but you just panther jump over it, don't you? In fact, I think if you try to just use the bird, it doesn't go through. You actually can't stay high enough to clear the gap. Not that there is a gap yet, but there will be in a minute. Oh, yeah, there we go. Also, I can't remember if I've already missed a gap or not. I might have. Because that was verse 5, and I don't remember if I've had that many fights. But this is why we have our weekly, or during the week, practice sessions. I can go back and clean up the areas that I missed. So yeah, I've probably mentioned it before, but this game absolutely adores putting things in areas that are only accessible once you get past a certain point. So while you're under the assumption that you're supposed to just charge ahead wildly, if you don't go back and check, you will miss part of the fight. I thought this was it here, because... you know what? I bet I did miss it, because now that door's closed. And I bet I had to... I bet I had to go back before going through that door. Because now it's locked behind me, so I will have to do that next time. Well, let's find out real quick, though. If it opens back up or anything. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I think there's an Alfheim back at the start of this area. Yeah, there is. I remember that. Shit. Alright. Well, we won't have a perfect clear of this chapter tonight. But I think it is only an Alfheim. There's no other fights. Just a bonus area. So this next fight is fun, if I recall what it is. Yep.
What are you boys doing in here?
There's another very fun cutscene.
Are you hiding something from me? Come on. You've been cheating on me, haven't you? Someone else caught your eye? Oh dear. Something tells me I'm going to regret this.
She is the key into your future.
What's the thing about this fight? Oh, right. They try and destroy the shield, right? Why do I look all funny, though?
Because you're in purgatory.
Aren't we always? I thought that was the only way we
Yeah,
could. But the idea is that Cereza is not.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's showing us all weird and invisible. This is a fight that I love playing over and over, and I wish it was closer to the beginning of the chapter, because this is a really good group fight where there's just a lot of enemies back to back, and it's really good for practice. But it's like 20 or 30 minutes into the chapter. So to get to it, you have to do all the other stuff first. You can do chapter select, but there is no verse select that lets you jump to a specific point in the chapter. But yeah, this is a really good fight to practice your techniques, because it's a lot of basic enemies, so you don't have a huge variety, but you have a lot of constant back-to-back spawning of enemies, and it gives you a really good chance to learn how to fight in 360, because they do come from all directions, as you can see. And yeah, they're not super tough enemies, but there's a bunch at once. And there's two types of fights in this game. Fights with a few very difficult enemies, or fights with a whole bunch of regular enemies. And it's sometimes hard to tell which one's more difficult, because if you let yourself get overwhelmed, it doesn't matter how weak they are, it doesn't take long for them to combo you to death. Oh, it went better than it could have. No damage to the shield either. Plus, the game's version of Fly Me to the Moon plays during that fight, which is a very cool song.
Let me see what spring is like. Mommy! Was I just singing? Mommy! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, little one. I am not your mother.
But, Mummy...
Will you quit calling me Mummy?
Yeah. I have like 5 versions of that song even before this game.
If there's two
Um,
things I hate in
But the recording for this game is a very nice version. And there's 2 versions. There's a jazz slow version and a bouncy,
so don't
exciting version.
dare cry.
Yes, Mummy.
Fine. You've got to be a strong little one to survive in a place like this. What's your name, anyway?
Teresa.
Cereza? You're not from Figrid, are you, little one? Where are you from?
I'm from my house.
Well now, I'll hazard a guess this isn't your home. So what on earth are you doing here?
My daddy told me to come here.
And whereabouts is this daddy of yours?
He was at work, but now I don't know where he's gone. I want to go home.
I can't just drag you along wherever I go, little one. So you better not be getting attached to me.
Yes, Mummy?
Come now, little one. I'll help you out of here, but that's all. And you have to promise there'll be no crying. A single tear and you'll be crying alone. Got it?
Okay, Mummy.
I love it. I'm not a child person by any means, but the way they handle it in the game is done very well. Because Bayonetta's attitude comes through very, very nicely. Is this the part where I can't go back here either, right? Yeah, it just says check, not open. So yeah, for the next little part of the game, we now have Cereza tied to us. You'll see how it works shortly. They do it very cleverly. Dookie and Train have left, because of course things come in oh wait, things come in 3s, so look out for something, one more thing that's going to fuck up your viewing, Shu. Anyway, you just missed a really fun fight. But yeah, now we have a child tied to us. So everyone's favorite part of every action game, the protection chapter where you can't let them get hurt. So, luckily it doesn't last too long, and again, the game handles it pretty decently. In recent days, Vigrid has seen the rise of the Ithavoll Group, a conglomerate whose rapid development has changed the face of the city. Their man-made island off the coast of Vigrid, Isla de Sol, is a clear example of their technological style. It is a modern metropolis, home to many residents. However, their flight from the old city has led to the onshore historical district's rapid decline, a process that will likely end in the areas becoming ruins free of inhabitants. Those who live on Isla del Sol, and those who have remained in the old city, all worship the Laguna, gods who are the heart of their faith, also the best part of FF8. In many ways, like sun worship, this faith has been at the people's core since ancient times, and forms the very heart of their cultural development. It is... Son of a bitch. It is said that the Ithavoll Group... God, I suck tonight. It is said that the Ithavoll Group itself was developed in conjunction with the Laguna, and its CEO is held up as the paragon of Laguna worship, the living symbol of the people's faith. He is purported to be descended from the said-to-be-annihilated Lumen Sages, although I cannot confirm the veracity of this claim. At any rate, the devotion which people hold toward the Ithavoll Group is without question. Vigrid's appearance is not the only part of the city to have changed completely. The ancient faith in Laguna is now inexorably linked to the Ithavoll Group as it pushes forward its modernizations. Thus, the city has lost its previous visage, to be replaced at an alarming speed, and with all the apparent consent of the Laguna worshipping Vigridians. There was also a truck. Oh, there you go. So maybe you're done with your bullshit for the night. 1, 2, 3. Dookie truck and train. So, anyways, as you can see, the angels are still in purgatory, but I am not. I am in the real world with Cereza. So what that means is you have to use items to fight these angels. So even though they can damage her, I can't damage them with my own weapons. I need to actually pick up things and use them, like this light post that I'm currently using. So that's why I am attacking with this slow-ass pole, because items exist in all dimensions. Oh, come on, I dodged that one. So because items exist in both dimensions at once, the game very cleverly lets you attack using items. That's its objects. Yeah, not items. That's a good point. Items is not the word we want to use. All right, so this is my least favorite part. Hi, fucker. I hate you. I know. I gotta throw shit at him. For those who can't hear it, she's saying, "You take the wheel." Oh, you fuck whore. Hit him with it. Hit him with it. So yeah, I'm picking up shit and throwing it at him because we can't actually hurt him, but we can slow him down. Which is the whole point, because she has a limited little life, as you can see there. So every time he gets a hold of her, it does some damage to her, which we don't want. Come on. Oh, really? It's too far. So I have to hit him and distract him until we get to the end of this tunnel, which is, yeah, it's not a lot of fun. Because if you can't fight things in a fighting game, I can't even throw that at him. I did dodge that, however. Totally going to take credit for that. So yeah, you get rated for damage in this section, both on your damage, but also Cereza's. So the more she gets hit, of course, the lower your rating is going to be. But hey, we got through. Come on, little girl. We still got a gold. And now he's stuck because he's too fat, I guess. You know, there's never health items before a boss fight, but in these random sections where I don't really need it, it's everywhere.
Well, lucky for you, there's going to be a boss fight.
Is there? Oh, yeah. Fuck whore is the worst kind of whore. I don't know. Maybe that's the best kind of whore, because isn't that like the purpose of a whore? I'm speaking as experience as a whore. Listen, you. God damn it, more reading. I forgot how much story this game actually has. One of the unique aspects of the religion in this town is the people's belief that the world is actually made up of 3 unique realms layered on top of one another. Oh, this is the explanation that I tried to give like 3 weeks ago and shit it all over, so now we can get it done properly. Human world, Inferno, and Paradiso, the trinity of realities. However, the wavelengths of the spirit energy in each of these realities is different, and the inhabitants of each are unable to interfere with the other's affairs, despite the fact the worlds are layered. It is said that the Lumen Sages and Umbra Witches had the unique ability to pass into a realm known as Purgatorio and travel amongst the Trinity. It is believed that the witches and sages each made contracts with the masters of the light and dark worlds and can use special abilities granted to them by their masters. Underlying all of this, though, is the presence of the Trinity of Realities. Even during the witch hunts, it seems those suspected of being witches were lured into Purgatorio and act as people called being spirited away, and their presence in the no man's land was used as justification for further acts of persecution. To further explain Purgatorio, one must understand that those within the realm are unable to see or touch those in the human world, nor are humans in their own world able to intervene in the affairs of Purgatorio. Moreover, what we identify as material objects may have different appearances in the different realities, yet when these items are destroyed in one world, they will be destroyed in all worlds. This may explain why many places religious interpretations upon the phenomenon of unexplained destruction that occurs during their everyday lives. So what it's basically saying is what I explained in brief a minute ago. Objects exist in both realities, or technically all three realities, but they might look different. But like if you destroy something in Purgatorio, or rather if you destroy something in the human world, it is also going to be destroyed in the Paradiso and Inferno. So we could go down to Homeboy's shop, but I really don't have anything to buy right now. I only have one piece of a record. We are missing the other two pieces because at this point all records are now in 3 pieces because the game hates you. So let's continue on to the next part. There's an entirely different dimension on the other side of that gate. It is a fantastic environment, brimming with light. Oh yeah, we are about to meet the new enemy. Crap. So now we're in Paradiso. You can always tell you're in Paradiso because everything is lighter, and there's usually floaty feathers everywhere. Also, the music tends to match. So you get kind of this heavenly chorus going on here. And, as you can see, that giant fucker who was stuck in the tunnel back on the human realm is still stuck in the tunnel. But in this world, he is no longer translucent because this is his world.
Don't worry, it's always scary the first time you see them. So, where was I?
Oh, we get the song again, too.
Oh, yes.
This is another really fun fight because he's a big group of enemies.
Had dessert as well.
Desert. Typos.
Oh, what a lovely tea party. And dancing, too. Cereza, my dear, watch and learn.
I reflected it in his face. He didn't appreciate it either. Hey. Oh, right. Even if I dodge it, it can still hurt Cereza. Well, that's some balls. Alright, we need to kill these fuckers fast then. Because unfortunately, they will go after her specifically, even if you try and draw them away. So, short of taunting them, so I guess if I did have that item that taunted angels, that would actually be useful here. But yeah, short of taunting them, they will actively go after her, unfortunately. And she does not really try to get out of the way at all. Like that. Oh, come on. Alright. That was not as good as it could have been. Took a lot of damage. Alright, let's see. Any healing items hidden around here? Probably not. Having low health is really sucky because the fight after this next part is my least favorite type of enemy. A whole bunch of fireballs for no reason. Come out here and fight me, you douche nozzle. There we go. Where else would you put the child? But your mouth, of course. So yeah, this is a much larger version of that other giant fucker that we fought a few times before. The Beloved, thank you. Yeah, he's even bigger, but not really any slower. Because why would he be? Oh, I stunned him. Nice. I don't actually know if you have... Do you have to worry about hurting her? Well, I don't know if you do. Okay. So she has a health bar there, but yeah, you can't actually hurt her. You can just attack him willy-nilly, luckily. Ah, that's the only problem with hitting dodge twice in midair now that I've unlocked the bird, is I will be turning into the bird a lot by accident. Ooh, that was a nice attack. Bye, bitch. Hi. I love this part. He died unloved, despite the fact that he's called a beloved. Right. So this next cutscene is admittedly one of my favorites, even though it's the least favorite enemy type. So as you may have noticed, I am not the one holding the little girl. Some other bitches. It's our latest enemy type, who does a lot of bullshit lasers. That's her secret ability. God damn it, I hate this part so much. You can't even dodge through them. I don't really have to run either, so I don't know why I'm bothering to run. What? Can you not dodge through them? You have to jump over them? Oh, whatever. We're at the end now. Another item used. This is another chapter that I usually have an absolute garbage score on because there's a lot of bullshit parts right next to each other. Anyway, let's enjoy this cutscene.
So,
Oh! So you do have to go fast!
yes!
How far? That's a really long-ass time to redo. Guess we're gonna have an even shittier score than I thought. You kidding me? I went too fast? There. Did I do it this time? That's right, we're used to my garbage scores at this point. Tough little fucker. Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts. This is the game's personality in one cutscene. So, welcome to the newest enemy type.
Yeah.
Which we haven't actually seen them yet, because this still looks like Bayonetta. To kick her ass a little bit first. Damn! That's like the best I've ever done with that shit. There we go. The joy. Fuck you and your whip, you whore. Yeah, these bitches are fast as hell, and they become a very common enemy. So, you have to get good at them very quickly. Oh, I guess I should do the torture attack. Alright. They get a very unique one, as you can imagine. What's that thing called? The sawhorse?
Yeah.
But it's like a literal shape like a horse. Anyways, yeah, that's the joy. I actually did better than I normally do at that fight, but I guess since I've already failed a few times, it's not saying much. Not going to help my ending score at all. I guess it will make it not worse. The Angel's Banquet Hall, Alfheim. So we've done like 5 Alfheims already, but this is our first actual explanation of it. Vigrid has long held the notion that the world is comprised of a trinity of realities: Paradiso, Inferno, and the human world. However, since the era of the witch hunts, where the Umbra witches met total annihilation, Vigridians have held that Paradiso, the world of light, is the most perfect of these realms, and have worshipped it as such. Yet, as normal human beings are unable to experience this heaven, the Vigridians' feelings regarding Paradiso manifest themselves in various ways. Even the Porta del Paradiso, ruins of which remain to this day, were born of this faith and placed around the city as an act of Paradiso worship. These structures, stone discs 3 meters in diameter, were said to represent portals into Paradiso itself. It was believed that when the gods extended the people a helping hand, they would do so via the portals, guiding them to Paradiso. Thus, the Porta were placed in spiritually powerful locations. I have one more interesting aside. Within Paradiso, there are said to be secret rooms known as Alfheim, where angels gather and hold their banquets. See, those are supposed to be for elves, so, the angels are fucking with that too, I guess. The Porta del Paradiso created by man are said to mimic the entrances into these Alfheim. Legend has it that if someone were to stumble across one of these portals while in Purgatorio, they may enter an Alfheim, upon which the angels would entertain the lost visitor and bless them justly. And as we've seen, when you go into an Alfheim, the greeting and blessing is just a very painful fight. This is another area where I always feel like there's a secret somewhere, but I might be on crack. Let's backtrack a little bit and see if there's any Alfheims or anything. I don't think so, because we came into this room. It closed off behind us. Yeah, I don't think we can backtrack here. Doesn't matter. I'll be redoing this chapter offline during my grind, so if I have anything really cool, I'll remember it for next week. Oh, no, it's just a bullshit boss. That's where this one ends. So yeah, we've left Paradiso with the happy heavenly music and the angel feathers everywhere. And now we're back in the garbage human world, where there is some kind of water storm going on here. A pair of statues depicting the sun and the moon. It seems to have been made in worship of the Lumen Sages and Umbra Witches. Obviously, the moon horse is way cooler looking than the sun horse. That sun horse looks like a fucking Roman. The moon horse just looks like a punk rocker. Then you have this fucker here. Oh, he's useful, isn't he? He has, I believe he has a part in the cutscene, if I recall. Good God, so much story. Prominence Bridge. As part of the Ithavol's group's plans for the further development of Vigrid, the man-made island of Isla del Sol, a new urban center, was constructed and outfitted with a new highway stretching a total of 41.295 kilometers, or 26.218 miles. As expected, traveling this highway, which links the major areas of Vigrid to the island, requires vigorous checks, and its usefulness is limited to Vigridian authorities, Ithavol Group's materials transports, and a select group of authorized personnel. The bridge connecting the island to the mainland is an enormous oversea suspension bridge. The structures supporting the bridge's wires are shaped like the bright solar flares that shoot out from the sun's surface, giving the crossing its name, Prominence Bridge. It is truly a symbol of the modernity that has come to Vigrid. Are we going to cross this bridge, y'all ask? Well, of course. But is it going to be as simple as you think? Of course not. But first, our favorite side characters.
Mommy? You're a mom? You?
Come now, Cheshire. Look at me. Do I look like I have any interest in children? Now making them, well, that's another story.
Whoa, whoa! You're getting the wrong idea. I mean, it might be the right idea, but not right now, right?
I love you, Luca.
Yeah, speaking of right, I'm glad I've been standing around waiting for you, because I knew we'd cross paths. See, the only way to reach the upper crust and their gated island of champagne wishes and caviar dreams is over Prominence Bridge.
Oh, yes. The island. Lovely place, isn't it? Oh, now what?
Don't play games with me. You've worked your magic on this poor defenseless child, haven't you? You're a sad, sick woman. You know that? I was her age when you killed my father. Wait. No. You couldn't. Oh my God, you did, didn't you? You killed her parents!
Come to think of it, she's better off with you. You two are more hassle than you're worth.
What?
Just keep a good eye on her, or you're going to catch hell for it. No good deed goes unpunished, and you never know when a monster may sneak up.
Mummy, look out! Mummy, no!
Oh, Luca, you and your grappling hook are the best.
How can she see?
I only missed one. And I had one death. Let's see if I... Hey, I didn't get a bronze. I didn't even get I didn't get a stone or a bronze. I did better than I thought. I had a shitload of golds, I guess. Made up for my death and my, item. Woohoo. Oh, you guys missed it. I had like a score of 165 in this offline. No one's gonna believe me. Zer can vouch for it, though. He won't, though, because he doesn't want me to look as good as I am. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, 21. 21? Are you serious? Well, 26. Okay. Okay.